Hi, I'm Jay. Today we're tying jigs for ice fishing. Stay tuned. And we're back. So good morning. Today I'm at the bench tying one of my very favorite patterns for ice fishing. Color combinations I've done in the past. We call this the red tail jig, though today we're doing a tail that will be all black. And let's get situated. So, what I have in the vise is a 1/60th ball jig. Now typically this would just be a solid black. These just happen to have eyes on them. I must have painted these up, I don't know how many years ago. But I kind of like having eyes on my jigs. Though normally I would tie this up with no eyes unless it was requested. And we are going to, hold on a second, let's move things in a little bit. Make it a little bit easier to see, right? But I have my 2-watt round nylon thread, nothing fancy, no wax. And I'm going to walk the thread down to the bend of the hook. Now normally I would use just a regular dyed red, but like I said, today we're using the black turkey feather. And I pull the fibers away just to get 2 or 3 of them separated. There we go. There we have 3 of the turkey feather fibers, and I want the length of the body past the bend of the hook for the length of the tail. Switch my grip. A few wraps just towards the bend of the hook just to lock that on. I can trim away this extra. Now we're going to use a chenille body, and I have here some old stock. It's Crystal Chenille CC08, but any of the ice flash or the ice chenille that you find would be just fine for this pattern. I lock it on back at the point of the hook, and then I can walk my thread forward up to the head. This piece is a little short, so let me get my Hackle pliers. Now I take an angle towards the bend of the hook for my first turn, and then I straighten things out for the rest of the hook shank with touching wraps. I don't want to really overlap because that kind of flattens down the chenille. And my final wrap, my final turn, I bring it to the front of my bobbin, so when I switch hands I can pick up my bobbin and just lock that right into place. So to finish this jig, I just take some of my cheap Hackle, bags and bags of loose Hackle that I have. Now what I do is this bag is called extra small. I don't measure the hackle. This is probably close to a 10. But I just separate the pieces in that bag. So this would be smaller, extra small. And something like this. And it's not the size of the feather itself, it's the length of the barbs. This is more of a medium. So I was tying these on a little bit larger jig head. So what I want is a feather that the barbs are about 1.5 times the size of the hook gap itself. Okay, and I hold it so the underside is facing me, and you can strip away some of the barbs on the stem. Gives us just enough to lock it in place. 3 wraps towards the bend of the hook, and then I'm going to bring a couple wraps, angling it so I'm just rubbing the back of the head and sandwiching the tail of that hackle feather in between those 5 wraps. Locks it into place. I will take my hackle pliers. Two to 3 turns is ideal. Touching wraps towards the head of the jig. And again, my final wrap goes in front of my bobbin, so I can pick up my bobbin with my right hand and lock it right into place. Fantastic. To finish this off, you can use whip finish tool. I always just use a loop of thread. But these heads are small enough where a whip finish tool would be just fine. And again, about 3 wraps, and I try to angle the thread so it rubs on the back side of that jig head to trap any of the fibers towards the bend of the hook and not forward. This is a great jig for ice fishing. There's something about those fibers on the collar that just slightly move and jiggle as you're adding some action with your rod tip. But then the turkey feathers on the tail, again, they're not so soft and wispy that they're just flowing with every single move. They have a slight stiffness to them, but they're shaking the whole time as you're ice fishing, and just jigging that pole ever so slightly, giving a little bit of action to the jig. But let's just finish this real quick. Lacquer based head cement, just a drop and drop. And we'll take this out of the vise and take a good look at it. A ball head jig with a turkey tail. I just love for ice fishing. Again, you don't have to have the eyes on the jig. It's just a preference for me. I kind of like that. Though typically I don't sell them that way. So I think that's going to do it for us today. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is a very simple jig. Works great for all sorts of panfish. I use this style jig in the summer. You can size it up just a little bit for crappie in the summertime. But we have great success with this fishing through the ice. each winter for all sorts of fish. We're fishing primarily bluegill and perch, of course. But I think that's going to do it for us today. So as always, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any new content. Feel free to share any of our videos, as it does help increase awareness for the channel. Check out the website, jworthhandtied.com. Got some new things on there. We'll probably, if I'm able to do a little bit extra with the ice jigs, we'll be adding those to the website as well. Though we're towards the end of fall right now, and I've already made runs up north with ice jigs. Hopefully we have a nice cold December and ice by January 1st. That would be great, right? But I think that's it for today. So until next time, keep tying in tight lines.